The Raptors, Teddy, easily dispatch of those wounded Warriors. Durant and Thompson watch is now official for Friday. And as of taping right now, Teddy, we got the word probable is now the tag for Klay Thompson moving forward. But let's get to the hot topics of the day. Steph Curry drops 47 points in the Game 3 loss. You figure if you get a half 100, Teddy, you're going to be in some pretty good shape. Not so. And it looks like Andre Iguodala, 11 points in that game. Needed him to step up a little bit more. But let's talk about Toronto here, Teddy. Pascal Siakam led the way with a plus 22 on Wednesday night. Kawhi Leonard seemed like a quiet 30 points, was able to get it done. As we said, Curry drops the 47. Draymond gets 17. Wasn't enough, Teddy, and we saw that line drop heading towards game time when it was apparent Klay Thompson was sitting this one out.
Yeah, the books took a bath on this game. Unfortunately, I took a bath on this game as well. And it wasn't even a game. I mean, the game was absolutely over in the first quarter. Toronto came out, took control, hit shots. Golden State was playing from behind. They made a little flurry before halftime to make things, potentially interesting in the second half. But the Raptors controlled that game start to finish. And frankly, Golden State looked like last year's Cavs last night, which is a team that wasn't the team that we normally see, a team that's banged up beyond belief. It was like Curry and the Seven Dwarfs. It was a bunch of guys that weren't used to playing with one another, and it showed. It really did. But Toronto, Golden State played poorly with the exception of Curry. Toronto played great. Every Raptor starter had, 17 plus last night. And when everybody plays good for Toronto and nobody plays good for Golden State, you're going to see a wire-to-wire blowout. That's what we saw last night for the Raptors, a team that clearly doesn't have any confidence issues facing the three-time champs.
Yeah, it looks like, and it's funny too, because you go into that basketball game there, obviously it's game 3, it's on their home court, but I felt like the pressure was on Toronto because they had to win this game with all the injuries. They come up big. We'll see on game 4, as we see an early spread, which we'll talk about a little bit later, favored by 5.5, those Warriors are, with an over-under set at 216, which also, Teddy, crashed down last night. But before we get to the next topic here, let's talk a little cheddar here, Teddy. Here's what we do at sportsbookreview.com and That Betting Show. Join up with Bovada because you know what? The final of the Triple Crown race is on Saturday, and they are giving you a welcome bonus of up to 50%, Teddy, matching up to $250 with Bovada. Just use the code BOVBSS20. Teddy, we love this stuff, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the truth, all right? This show is free. It will be free. It will be free forever, every day. You guys can watch it, get info. All we ask you to do, pay attention to our sponsors. When Bovada gives us a special offer, it helps us keep this show free for you on the air every day if you guys sign up. So you talk about a welcome bonus for up to $250. You get something for nothing, just like you do here on That Betting Show. Appreciate you guys taking advantage of these special offers.
Absolutely. And tomorrow is Friday. Obviously, we're going to set you up for the final Triple Crown race there at the Belmont tomorrow. So tune into That Betting Show. But let's talk a little bit of Major League Baseball. Now, Teddy, I've been practicing this all morning. A song from the early 80s. Sailing takes me away. Did I do all right, Teddy?
So it made me angry when I saw this. I'm looking at the notes pre-show because I'm like, now that stupid song's going to be in my head, and God knows how long it's going to be in my head for. Thanks. I appreciate that. Please sing it again. Oh, my God.
Look at that. Me and Ted are old folks compared to most people watching this show. And there you go. You got a little bit of language there. You got a little bit of talk from Teddy. So we'll have that for the rest of the show. But Sale back on track, Teddy, after a first rough start to the month. Chris Sale tosses a complete game shutout 3-hitter. How about this, Teddy? 6 of his last 7 starts, 3 runs or less, including 2 shutouts. Sale is back to ace form. That's good news for those Red Sox.
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox are enjoying this step down in class against Kansas City after they faced the Astros, Indians, and Yankees in their 3 previous series. Last night's game wasn't a contest. But here's my question for you. An immaculate inning, 9 pitches, 9 strikes, strike them out. I always feel like an immaculate inning should be 3 pitches, 3 outs, inning over. But Sale nonetheless gets his immaculate inning with consecutive strikeouts in the 8th, mind you. That was an impressive showing, but of course it came against a Kansas City team that right now can't hit their way out of a wet paper bag.
Teddy, what are the odds here since we're talking about gambling? How about the immaculate game? Can we get away with 27 pitches and a complete game shutout? Is that possible?
I think it's possible. I don't think it's been done, however, in the history of MLB. But, hey, they're due, right?
Absolutely. Hey, Teddy, old dog, new tricks here. Now, this is what makes gambling on baseball or trying to figure out the numbers so maddening. And if the numbers were always right for us, Teddy, we'd all be millionaires to be nowhere to place any wagers. How about Mike Leake last night? A complete game, allowing only one run versus the hot bats of the Houston Astros. 119 pitches, Teddy, for the veteran as he breezed through that lineup, scattering only 6 hits in those 9 innings. Mariners bats came alive and dotted up a really good Astros bullpen for 12 runs. Baseball, it's the summer. Get used to some of these ones.
Yeah, all that being said, I mean, the Mariners are now 13-37 in their last 50 games after last night's win. And Leake, after throwing 119 pitches last night, sure looks like a bet against hurler in his next start. I don't know that Leake is going to be able to match that effort at any point for the remainder of the season. He's good for a good start every now and again, but I will not trust him. Circle that game with Leake and the Mariners next time out. Off 119 pitch effort, he may well be a clear bet against.
Yeah, one of those things that I like to look at that as well. When you have the complete games, you have the no-hitters, you extend yourself. You know, even though you're getting that full 5 days rest, sometimes a little bit taxing. You do get shelled in that next outing. We'll see what takes place there. How about setting you up for that NFL season? We're not that far away. Right on, 90, 91 days until the opener? Take a look today. One of the teams that we've all been waiting for, one of those lightning rod teams in the NFL, Teddy. Your 2019 NFL season team preview right here on That Betting Show today. Those Cleveland Browns. How about this? Now, I had to do a double check, honestly, Teddy, when I saw this. The Browns, 14-1 to win the 2019 championship. 7-1 to win the AFC, and a team total of 9.5. So basically, you're going to have to get double digits in order to cash this ticket for them. They finished up last year 7-8-1 on the season, going 3-2-1 in the AFC North. Expectations, as we said, Teddy, sky high. Baker Mayfield comes in replacement of Tyrod Taylor last year, plays well down the stretch. They go 5-2 over their last 7 games. You have extra ammunition here. You got mouths to feed over there. Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry. You got a nice wide receiving core, a lot of talented running backs, and after 8 games, you're going to get an all-pro caliber player back in your backfield for Kareem Hunt. All the talent is there. Young head football coach, very high expectations. Teddy, how are we going to handle this year with the Cleveland Browns?
The way we're going to handle it is we're going to start by looking at last year and see what really happened a season ago when Cleveland had their best record in quite some time with a 7-8-1 mark. Now, remember, they had 4 losses by a field goal or less. 2 of them came in overtime. They had a tie. This team could have been 12-4 last year. And we might be talking about Cleveland a little differently right now. They were plus 0.2 yards per play, so they outgained their opponents on a yards per play basis. They were minus 0.1 yards per rush, basically neutral. Baker Mayfield, as a rookie, a 93.7 QB rating. Opposing QBs, only 83.4. Solid pass defense last year. Plus 7 in turnovers. That's something we haven't seen from the Browns in a while. And it's definitely worth noting. Last year, Cleveland, a tougher than average schedule, notably tougher than average schedule. The division was tough. This year, on paper, based on this year's season win total, their schedule is well below the league average. It's a substantial drop-off. So it is a team that is facing a weaker slate than last year. And basically, when you're talking about the moves they made this offseason, these are all win-now moves. They're going all in. You got Odell Beckham? Yeah, that's a win-now move. All right, bringing Oliver Vernon and Sheldon Richardson on the defensive line, win-now moves. Kareem Hunt to an incredibly talented running back group, win-now move. Morgan Burnett. There's some losses. But you find me a weakness on this team. Their offensive line is good. Their skill position is good. Their defensive line is good. Their pass rush is good. Man, you look at everything that Cleveland did. Secondary, phenomenal. Baker Mayfield's the question here. If Baker Mayfield lives up to the promise he showed last year, the sky is the limit for the Cleveland Browns. And I'm telling you, there's at least some wise guy resistance here in Vegas. They're looking at Cleveland. Oh, they're a public team. Oh, the public likes the Browns. I'm telling you, you look at this squad on paper, they're as good as anybody this side of New England in the AFC. I'm a Browns believer going into the campaign. If Freddie Kitchens can handle these personalities. Not going to be easy in that regard, but from a talent standpoint, Cleveland is the most talented team in this division, and frankly, it's not even that close.
It's good that you brought that up, Teddy, because I did want to ask you a quick question. When we're dating back, forget about last year where they did end up picking up 7 wins. The previous 2 years, wise guys, it was a favorite bet to play on the Cleveland Browns. They weren't really turning profits back, but now it seems like that tide has turned. So backing off your question with the wise guys, quote unquote, in Las Vegas, what are we looking at here when we're talking about the Browns this year, is there, like, I always like to say, equate it's like the Yankee tax, Teddy, where, maybe the game's 150, but it's 155 because the New York money's going to pile in and they want to, tax it a little bit. Is that the case for the Browns this year? Like, what's an optimistic approach, or what are the wise guys looking at with the Browns? Optimistic, or saying, you know what, as you just said, maybe a little bit too public for them this year?
From a future standpoint, it's going to be difficult with Cleveland. I'm not betting on Cleveland to win the AFC or to win the Super Bowl. When it comes to stuff like winning the division, I already have a Browns ticket to win the division in my pocket. I think they're alive to do that. And the wise guys, it's all about value versus talent, let's say. They know the talent's there on Cleveland, but they don't think the value's there on Cleveland. They're not going to be a popular wise guy choice this year in the NFL because the public's all over them. So you're not getting that extra point and a half of value. But to see Cleveland overpriced on a week-in, week-out basis, depends on how good they are. If they're as good as I think they're going to be, might be underpriced. And the wise guys will be behind. And the public, as always, every October, the public's ahead of the wise guys in the NFL because they realize, hey, this team's good and this team's not good. And the wise guys are like, but look at the statistical profiles. And no surprise here if Cleveland ends up being a value team at that stage of the season, especially if they get off to a mediocre start.